Radio signals are sent simultaneously from transmitters located at points O, Q, and R. R is 100 miles due north of O, and Q is 80 miles due east of O. The Loran receiver on Sloop Gloria receives the signal from O 3.23 microseconds after the signal from R and 258.61 microseconds after the signal from Q. What is the Sloop's bearing and distance from O? No, use D equals RT when R equals 980 feet per microsecond. So when you draw out the problem, R is here, O is here, and this is Q. The distance between these two are 80 miles, and the distance between these two are 100 miles. So from R to O to C, which is the distance here, equals 100. So C equals 50. So that means the center is 0, 50. So when you look at your equation formula chart, y is changing. So the equation you're going to use is 1 equals y minus k squared over a squared minus x minus h squared over b squared. And then when you plug in your y value, you get y minus 50 squared over a squared minus x squared, since x is 0. No, since h is 0, and you get b squared equals 1. So when you do 2a, you use the biggest number, and then you get d, which is 316,805. That's when you multiply 323.27 times the R, which is 980. You get this. And then when you divide this number by 2, you get A, which is 158,402. Then you divide this by 5,280 feet, which gives you 30 feet. And then to find b squared, you subtract c squared, which is 50, minus a squared, which is 5,200, which is 900, and you get 1,600. So b squared is 100, negative 100 times 10, b equals 40. So when you plug in the equation, you get y minus 50 squared over 900 minus, which is a squared, because 30 squared equals 900, minus x squared over 1,600, because b is 40 equals 1. So that is your equation for r minus o. And when you do OQ, the distance between the two is 80. So 2C equals 80, which means C equals 40. And the center is 40, 0. And the x is changing, which means the formula is x minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared. When you plug in your center, you get x minus 40 squared over a squared equals y squared over b squared, because your y value is 0, equals 1. So you take the d, which is the 258.61, and you multiply it by 980, which is your r, and you get 253,438, which equals your 2a. So when you divide that by 2, you get 12,617,719, and you divide this by 528, 5280, which is how many feet per mile, and you get 24 feet. So your a squared is 576. And when you do your b squared, you take 40 squared, which is c squared, minus the 126,719 squared, which is your a, and you get your b squared, which is 1024. So when you plug in your equation, you get x minus 40 squared over 576, which is your a squared, minus y squared over 1024, which was your b squared. And that equals 1. And when you graph these two equations and find the intersection, your the distance from O to the boat here is 187 and 193. These are your coordinate points.